Hey everyone, this video is going to be a response. I've been putting off and prolonging it for a little while now because I wanted to hear both sides of the debate from not just one source but multiple sources so I could kind of get the nuanced positions and reasons behind their particular positions in reference to the open or closed border debate that we've seen put forth and presented by people such as Victor Pross and Larkin Rose, or even today now we're having another debate, Larkin Rose versus Christopher Chase Rachels. But what I don't understand, and I've been listening to it, and I haven't finished this new video between Larkin Rose and Christopher Chase Rachels, moderated by Eric July. So I'm going to continue to listen to it, but I just wanted to lay down a very small basis for my thoughts on the subject, on my thoughts on the topic right now. And I will listen to the rest of it and then follow up subsequently with the rest of either my rebuttal or my thoughts on the topic. But the first thing that keeps coming to the forefront of my brain when these discussions are taking place, these debates are taking place, is what the hell? I mean, especially when you're talking about the kind of people that are debating. Larkin Rose, Victor Pross, and Christopher Chase. These are people that all identify as either libertarian or anarchists, which is, right? Potato, more or less. But the thing that I don't understand is you're basically, it almost sounds to me as an objective observer, right? Looking on and listening to this debate, is you all sound like a bunch of fucking goddamn lawyers or politicians at this stage of the game. Stop making things so fucking difficult. Jesus Christ, you're trying to educate, inform, and elevate the intellect of the population. And what you're doing right now, I think, is actually counterproductive and counterintuitive to the kind of goals that you should be, keeping at the forefront of your mind, right? Let's just be honest here, and I'm a purist like Larkin Rose. Listen, I'm the guy that's usually err on the side of being the purist like Larkin Rose. I'm totally about that. I totally understand his position on a lot of things, and I agree with him on a lot of things. But what I don't understand when he keeps defending this open border concept is the welfare state does exist, Larkin. I wish it didn't. All of us wish it didn't. And prior to, if this debate was happening before the growth or the introduction of the welfare state, where the government has the ability or the pretense of authority to redistribute incomes or wealth or property and all that shit to infringe on all of our natural rights, then I would say I'm on Larkin Rose's side 100%. Open borders, the only borders that should exist are those of private property. Those, when you are the one that produced and created something on a particular parcel of land and claimed that as your own. Just like even in the animal kingdom, right? It's not even a human thing to have property. Even the animal kingdom every animal has to have a place to live and reside and to flourish and seek out for their food sources, right? And, whether they piss on the corners or mark their properties. Even animals understand instinctively that property rights are supposed to exist, even in the natural world of the animal kingdom, right? So of course that should obviously translate and correlate to the human realm as well. Private property, and that's something that I don't see many anarchists or libertarians or voluntarists arguing about. So it's just come down to this nuanced differences between the state. But that's the part, and like I keep saying, what I keep coming back to, okay, Larkin, we live under the paradigm of a state. That is real. It's all around us. It's omnipresent. It can't be denied, right? So let's function in that environment. In the utopian kind of scenario, like I say, I'm or absent of the state, I'm on your side, Larkin. But we do live in a current paradigm, the current world, where statism does exist, where there are geographical boundaries, and all the rules are laid out and dictated that are reflective of that reality. So taking all that into consideration, if someone comes to, like, perfect example here in Canada, I'm a Canadian. We have hundreds of thousands last year, I think it was between 300,000 and 400,000 legal immigrants that the government brought in, whether it's through the temporary foreign worker program or whether it's through just this bringing in the Syrian refugees. Actually, no, that was in addition. Actually, sorry, that's the Syrian refugees was another 25 to 28,000 more in addition to the 300 plus thousand. But no matter what, with that open border concept, the government, or even with a closed border concept, I guess, the government, so no matter what concept you want to argue or debate or disagree or agree upon, the state has the capacity, because of the fact that we live in, the statist paradigm, they believe that they have the pretense of authority to bring people here. And yes, there might be some people that may not come here and have any pretense of using forced wealth redistribution to benefit themselves at the expense of the Canadian population or the Canadian tax source or population, right? And if we lived in a situation where we could sort through that properly, then once again I would be on Larkin's side. I'm not racist. I have no ill feelings towards people. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care what particular geographical landmass that you come from. I don't care what part of the globe you originate from, or even your ideology. As long as you keep your shit to yourself and adhere to the NAP, right? And you don't try to force me to subject myself or my family or anyone else to your ideologies, your preferences, your edicts, then do your thing. Now, in your own family, in your own setting, in your own community, I expect there are a lot of people that will hold you to account. And I'm not even suggesting they should use government. They should use themselves as a means to an end under that, in that regard, right? But when it comes to borders, we live in a situation, like I keep coming back to. The welfare state exists. And we see the statistical numbers. Just look through Stefan Molyneux's recent videos and the statistics that he constantly brings up and presents and portrays and puts forward in his videos about how many of these immigrants go on the welfare or use the state and the forced wealth redistribution model as a means to an end, right? People like myself, or people like, I won't speak for Chase or anyone else. I'm going to speak for myself, actually. But people like myself, my defensive position on it is, no. We're trying to greatly shrink, reduce, and ultimately eliminate any potential for having any central planners use their pretense of authority as a means to redistribute income or force some people to pay or subsidize the lives of others. That's really what it comes down to if you're a properly principled libertarian, which Larkin Rose usually is. But I think he's stuck in this thing now where he's set, he's got his mind set, he believes he's correct, and actually, like I say, in many aspects he is. But he seems to be unwilling to recognize that, you know what, we live in a statist paradigm. And under the current statist paradigm we live under, yes, at the very least, libertarians are looking for every possible way, means, or measure to shrink, reduce, and ultimately eliminate anyone from having any pretense or ability or authority to take from those of us who are productive, that grew up. And that's another thing, too, in the education system we were all raised in, right? The whole pretense of the social construct, of the social contract. Now, I've said, and I've made multiple videos in the past, that I don't believe in the social contract. But that is the pretense of the authority. That is the pretense of the relationship we have with our governments, right? So, rip that shit up. Like I say, let's do this in increments. Let's put one foot forward and the next and for the other. That's how you take steps. That's how you keep things balanced. If you just try hopping on one step or leaning to one side all of the time, well, then you're going to see where the balance breaks down. And you'll probably fall. And you may very well fail. So like I say, it's all about, let's get back to basics. And and like I say, I will remain objective as humanly possible. I don't have anything where it's like, oh, I'm more loyal to Larkin over Chris, or I'm more loyal to Victor. Hey, I'm all about, if you got the right information and it makes sense and it figures out properly in my mind, then I'm probably going to agree with you at the expense of the other position. Or if both, like I say, I'm all about being objective, and that's the way I'm always going to remain when it comes to dealing with these topics. I don't want to get political in them. Politics, yeah, I don't care for politics at all. And I don't care about legalese and bullshit. I don't give a fuck about any of those pretenses. So, like I said, I'll listen to the rest of this video, and I'll get back to you subsequently. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.